Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Chasing Rank. We are here with our Game Week 36 live stream, Game Week 35 review, 36 preview, and the weeks are ticking along very, very quickly. With me at the moment is Damo. How you going, mate?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. Another week down in the books. Only a couple of weeks to go to chase that rank and get where you want to be or minimize the damage of what's not been a great season. But we're doing okay, mate. And how about yourself?
Yeah, all good with me as well. We are really, really on that home stretch now. Hoping that you guys may be able to see that there is some positives when it comes to our rank. So hopefully you guys have had a good game week as well. Dom will be joining us a little bit late tonight. I think life duties have taken over. But if you are here bright and early, we would appreciate if you could drop the stream a big, big like. It does help in pushing the stream out. And I can already see there's 3 likes on the stream already. So that is absolutely fantastic. We're sitting at 276 subscribers at the moment as well. So as I said the last couple of weeks, if we can get that in and around the 300 mark, that would be brilliant. So Fallers and ballers, let's just jump into it. We got a lot to talk about tonight. It is a double game week. I don't want to spend too long talking about fallers and ballers. Now, that is the screen there. I'll run through this one. This is Dom's side, who scored 49 this week. And when you look at the team, there's some points in there where it's actually not too bad, I think. Like there's some positives. 49 obviously is, not a fantastic game week. It is, 1 point below the average. But I think, City conceding 3. I'm sure we're going to talk about that a little bit later tonight. He gets an 11-pointer from Mukiele. DC a goal and 1 bonus in a 1-1 draw. Luke Shaw, 14 DEFCON with a yellow card and 2 conceded. Again, it's not the worst play considering he come off injured last week. Pedro Porro gets DC against Aston Villa. Who would have thought? So I think the defense there has actually done relatively well. It's just that the forwards, there were a lot of forwards that returned this week alongside Haaland, and only having a Jared Bowen probably didn't help. But Dom played his wild card and then immediately got some injuries and some players not play. So not a lot of cover on the bench, which is interesting. And I wonder if this was Hincapié being rested for Champions League semi-final as well against Fulham. So I think bit unlucky that Dom's copped that, but again, Elliot Anderson 1 pointer, off the bench. Similar consideration with Europe. I think these are going to be some decisions that we're going to have to keep in our minds moving forward. So Dom's team, we'll go ballers there. We'll go Cherky, Mukiel, and Haaland, I think, for him. And his fallers, I don't think matter too much. Jackie, hopefully you're doing well. Damo, quick fire, 60 points. Talk us through your side.
Yeah, look, happy with 60 points. If you offered me that before the round, probably would have took it. 2 mil game week's not the worst. Obviously, would be a little bit different if I played Senesi. Senesi would have been a great play here. I don't know who I would have dropped for Senesi. The difference between him and Hill was only, a few points. So, it is what it is.
Bit of variance there.
Yeah, correct. It would have been nice. Wasn't the case. I think in hindsight, maybe could have got wind that Anderson is getting dropped by Forest because of Europa, because that's what they were focusing on. And then would have played Senesi instead.
That would have been a big gain.
Yeah. And it would have been like 13 points, but I don't know how I would have found that move. But yeah, Ballers definitely is going to be Hill, though. Definitely made a decision that it was going to get DEFCON clean sheet. And from my reasons why I made the decision, that was it. It was just that Senesi assist. And yeah, sticking with Joe Pedro for him to get a goal and a bonus is always nice. Yeah, take it no matter how it comes. And yeah, look, there was some slight decisions between playing, Scott or Rice or Senesi. Yes, obviously Senesi would have been great, but to get Declan Rice in for a 5-pointer where he hasn't really done a lot for me. Probably the other baller. Thiago also looked good. I think as a whole, the team did really, really well. I'm really disappointed by Sanchez. Obviously disappointed with Anderson as well. And disappointed too with Semenyo's output since I brought him in. And yeah, look, it was again on paper, it looked really good. On paper, I've probably made one mistake in a benching. And that's probably the difference between a ripper game week or not. But what it did mean is that you beat me in our head-to-head in a league that you're fighting in to win. I cannot win. So I'm actually a little bit grateful that I didn't play Senesi so you could get the 3 points, mate. So all well and good.
I appreciate it. And Gay coming in with an assist at the death on a pretty shocker touch as well. So
Yeah.
points was the margin in our head-to-head in our big league, and this was how my side shaped up. Copped a 0 from Cole Palmer, which is frustrating. I sort of sat on it a little bit today and thought, what was the circumstance around the penalty? And it looked like it was a pretty lengthy delay, I think. Like,
Yeah.
10 minutes of stoppage time. Sounds like the injury to the young lad that started was pretty bad. So, it's one of those ones, maybe if that penalty gets taken straight away, who knows? But it was actually, I thought it was a good save from Sells. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
I thought it was too.
Palmer's put it, relatively in a good enough spot, but Sells gets a full hand on it and can't convert the follow-up. Unlike you, though, my bench, I feel like I got everything right this week. Like playing Stroik over Virgil and Diouf felt like the right decision, although they win 3-1.
Yeah.
DEFCON, it's a bit unlucky, and Biol goes and gets an assist, so that sort of variance hurt a little bit. Semenyo, as you mentioned already, a bit frustrating, and then only playing the 74 minutes when they're playing one game a week was a bit frustrating to see Foden come on that sort of right wing, but then sort of play the 10 and then move Cherky to the wing. But having Cherky was nice to wake up already. That assist locked away, I thought beautiful. And I thought Cherky still looked pretty good in the second half of what I watched as well. Had a free kick that was only inches wide and just looked pretty involved in the play and looked the most dangerous. Haaland didn't think much of his second half, but when they conceded the third and they immediately just play a ball straight through to him and he dinks Pickford, you go, thanks for coming, and I'll take the captaincy. So nothing crazy on the ballers. I might give it to the front three, though. Haaland, João Pedro, Calvert-Lewin just carrying the side at the moment. So if you are here in the chat, get your comments in around how your team went this week, but also get your questions in. We'll try and answer them as we go tonight. I think it's going to be a bit more of a chill stream. Like there's only really a bit of the review, and then we'll look into the double game week that's ahead of us this week. I don't think there's going to be heaps to really run through. So Jackie 68, so takes out overall with Captain Osula and Okafor with points, bench Hill and Hinchell with 17, far out. So 68.
Could have been a huge game week.
Them as well, which is absolutely amazing. Ems, welcome along as well. 60 points up to 72K. Absolutely flying as well. So well in, Ems. That's a big
very good job, Ems.
Push for the back end of the season. 3 weeks to go. Top 50K surely on the cards. Leeds, Burnley. I just feel like with Leeds, it's the main guys that are just getting the job done, personally.
Yeah, I agree.
It's Okafor, it's Stack, it's Biol, Bogle with an assist. I mentioned him last week as well as a good option if you're looking to chase attacking potential from that defender. And it's Calvert-Lewin. I just think Leeds are, good enough fixtures to ride out the season with. This week, it's Tottenham, then it's Brighton at home and West Ham away. Yeah. Would I spend transfers on it now, having missed Burnley? Probably not, but it's 3 wins and 2 draws, or 3 and 3, actually. The last 6, they're unbeaten. 3 wins, 3 draws. They're scoring goals, 2 nil-nils in there as well. But as a double Leeds owner, it's nice for me just to have a Pascal Stroik. If I need him available, I've got an option to play. But I think you minimum want Calvert-Lewin as part of the front three. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, one of the moves I could make this week is to get DCL in. It was one of my plan moves. Couldn't get to him on the wildcard without a hit, which I did, to be honest. The hit was probably worth it for him, for Thiago. Thiago has done okay since. Only reason why I might not do it is I just think because Palace have the double, prioritizing my last 2 transfers that I'm going to have, right, or my 2 free transfers, is probably getting a Palace Palace players in for the double. And I would always rather a double than not. However, what I will say with that is I think that there's extreme value. And if you've got Leeds players, I'm playing them every day of the week, this game week and for the rest of the seasons.
Interesting point. Because I'm going to have a similar dilemma when I make my moves this week. So we'll talk through that a little bit later. But yeah, I don't think we're touching anyone from Burnley. We've said that.
Not really. Dubravka is playable in the last game week where they play Wolves, is what I would say. But he should be the only one that I think.
Which is when I have Kelleher playing Liverpool, I reckon. I think Liverpool have Brentford last game
Yeah,
of the
but the
season.
goalkeeper I'm planning on bringing in, I think they play Arsenal on the final day. So
Yeah,
works out well.
Dubrovka may get a game. All right,
Dubrovka.
Brentford, West Ham. I think this is one we can just write off for West Ham. You know, London trip have been really good for a while. Would have been nice for them to get something out of this one just to put a bit more pressure on Tottenham. But I still think West Ham are going to be all right. They've got a big game against Arsenal this week, which is going to be make or break for their season. But nice for anyone with Brentford assets. I think all the main assets again return. Thiago, Dango, Kelleher, Collins, no DC, but a clean sheet. Lewis Potter, I don't think anyone owns him really yet. Literally 0% effective ownership. So really the owned players here are Thiago, and that's it. I've got Kelleher in my side. I'm part of the 1.9% with Kelleher in my team. And I was very happy with an 8-pointer from my goalkeeper. But again, I don't think Brentford players at this point in the season are what we're targeting.
No.
Newcastle.
I think Thiago is worth holding for the rest of the season with the form that they've shown just the last couple of weeks, but wouldn't go out my way, put it that way.
To go buy them. I agree. No. Newcastle, Burn, Barnes, or Sula. Very, very interesting players to be owning at this point of the season, but they go and get the job done. Very interesting captain shout from Jackie on Osula, because I would not have picked that whatsoever. So there must have been some news, I'm assuming, last week that maybe Voltamata wasn't going to play and Osula did, because my gut's telling me, did he come off the bench for that 9-pointer because his name's like right down the bottom of the list?
It should be because of his name down the bottom of that list.
Yeah, so very, very interesting call there, but it pays off. So we take that and run. I still can't buy into Newcastle whatsoever, to be perfectly honest. But again, Botman with DC, Burn with a goal. I think for next year, Newcastle are going to be an interesting option. We'll see what Eddie Howe does, whether he's still the man in charge as well over the offseason. It sounds like he's going to be the man in charge as well. So, I mean, I just want to see what they do in the transfer window and sort of see how they start next season. But the shell of a good enough team is there, but I wouldn't be able to trust it now. And same with Brighton. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I wouldn't trust either of them right now. I think what we would like to see happen is Eddie Howe probably move aside. It looks like a team that's probably just had too much of the same manager. And I think Newcastle would probably thrive under a manager that's a little bit more pragmatic. And if that's the case, they've got some really good defenders for next season. So they're a team that I'm like, forget about them. I've had, Mickey for the whole time. And that's not gone well. I know that Hub does love him. But, I would avoid, not look for them for the rest of the season. And maybe as a team to look back at next year. I do think a lot of their players are going to go down in value as well because they've not had their best of the years, right? And maybe very viable next season when they get a new manager in.
Perfect. Wolves and Sunderland. Do we really need to cover this one?
No, this game does not need to be covered. If you've got a Sunderland asset, playing whenever you feel like you have to. And if you've got a Wolves asset, then...
And Dom was in the 2.5% of people that started Mukiel. So well done, Dom. That's about all I'm taking. Granit Xhaka is interesting. Assist DC once again. I think if he can get his body right next season, again, that sort of cheap enabler midfielder that we could look at. Now, I wanted to wait. Hopefully, Andrew's still here because I didn't want to talk about this before we got to the Arsenal game. So, any thoughts on this one? City have dropped points. Could Arsenal go back to boring 1-0 football, making Saka, Gyökeres not so viable? I still think they're going to need goals to win the league regardless because of the goals scored element of the goal difference. So City, I know, don't gain anything on goal difference. So like Arsenal have gained 3 goals on City this week. Yeah. But they've still scored the same amount of goals this week. So like all it takes is another City clean sheet win next week or in the double game week and sort of makes that not viable anymore. I think Arsenal's still going to need goals to win games. That's my gut feel. I think they're not going to win every game 1-0. We've seen this year that they've tried to do that and then they make a silly mistake off a set piece. Or I think at this point in the season, you need goals. I don't know whether Gyökeres is the answer. I know they're really light on forwards at the moment, but I just think for cheaper prices, there's better striker options doing similar things than what Gyökeres is doing. Again, with Arsenal assets, I'd be holding off until tomorrow because they play in the Champions League. So
Correct.
that's going to dictate what we do. But I think it could be Saka time if we see more than sort of 65 minutes in the Champions League and say they lose. That'd be best case scenario.
Yep.
Because then we can full send it for the last 3 games and then really go for the league. So in my head, I'd love Atletico Madrid to win this on 1-0 because I don't want Arsenal to have to play an extra half an hour and go to penalties. But it would, like, for FPL's sake, because I really am looking at Saka as an option from Cole Palmer. But I don't know if I could go triple defense. Because at the end of the day, everyone says how highly owned Raya and Gabriel are. Raya's only 14.5% owned, effective ownership. Like, double Arsenal's more than enough. I don't think you want to give away not having Saka at this point of the season. What are your thoughts, Dame?
Look, I definitely agree. I feel like if you don't have Raya, you're not going out your way to bring a goalkeeper in unless you have Sanchez as your number 1 goalkeeper and held him this whole time because you haven't been able to deal with him. Hello, myself. And then even then, you'd probably go to a double-in goalkeeper, which is Henderson. So I don't think it's Raya. Would I go out my way to go get Saliba or Calafiore? Yeah, look, they have the best defense. Yeah, Arsenal probably need to keep clean sheets to win the league as well. I get all of that.
There's not much upside there, though.
Yeah, I just think there's more exciting picks. When you've only got a few game weeks to go, it's about having those picks that are going to get you points and get you points in the short term. Yeah, look, Arsenal could keep clean sheets, 6 points every game. It's great. But you're telling me that Minozzi has a double this game week attacking fullback doesn't, has 2 chances at the cherry to go get an assist or a goal, right? So yeah, I don't know. I also feel that with that defense, if you've already got DevCon guys at the back, they're going to perform very similar to what Saliba's going to do anyway. So worst comes to worst, they concede a couple of goals, but get DevCon as 4 points, only a 2-point swing. So I would almost rather keep who you've got.
The other options
sideways. Yeah, I always think that when there's limited game weeks to go, you want to prioritize your transfers in the forward or midfield line because you're looking for players that have got really good fixtures to end the season that are going to spend minutes on the bench and win you a game of football, right? Or win you a tie. I do think, however, that if you need a defender, you're probably going for an attacking one over 3 weeks than a defensive one. That's probably where I sit.
Oh, I agree with that. Fulham, I'm not touching whatsoever. I think they're on vacation mode now as well. They've done what they need to do. They're not going to qualify for Europe. So I just would not be buying into Fulham assets. Bournemouth and Crystal Palace, though, this is where things get interesting because Bournemouth are playing for something. They are unbeaten since Semenyo left.
Yeah.
Which I think is incredible. And Crystal Palace obviously are playing for form in the Conference League, so they're not going to qualify for Europe through means of the league, but they still need to keep this momentum rolling. They've got the easier side. I mean, they should win the Conference League, really. With the quality they've got amongst who they're versing, they should walk the Conference League regardless.
They should.
But an interesting point is Sarr's been benched for the last 3 games in a row in the league, and everyone's talking about bringing him in this week. I don't feel comfortable really bringing anyone in other than Strand Larsen as an attacker, but I'm really interested in the defense, and they've got 2 very polar opposite type players. Lacroix is a DC merchant, and he's gone back to doing that in the last sort of month. The last 4 games, he's hit that 10 DC very consistently. And Daniel Munoz is that type of pick that you've been talking about, Damo, that can have that high ceiling. The issue we've got is the double game week for Palace is Everton and Man City. So I know we talk about getting players in for a double game week. Good timing, Dom, because we're covering this and as you walk in. Their fixtures over the next 4 is Everton at home, Man City away, Brentford away, Arsenal at home.
Yeah.
It's not amazing. But when I look at Munoz, he's gone 0 against Leeds where he didn't play. He played 90 minutes against Newcastle and got a 4-pointer with DEFCON. He then got a 7-pointer against West Ham with DEFCON and a clean sheet and must have been a yellow card then. Then he's got a 6-pointer against Liverpool with a goal. And then he's only played 45 minutes in this 3-0 loss, which I haven't seen much of this game against Bournemouth, but it must have been game was done at halftime, pull him off because we've got the Conference League to deal with.
Yeah.
What are our thoughts on Palace assets going into the double game week? We will talk about it a bit more when it comes to projections because they're going to be right up there. But Damo, what are your initial thoughts on Palace assets this week?
Initial thoughts is we need to target people that are proven to be playing 80 to 90 minutes, right? And we can definitely fall into the trap of, traditionally this has been a good asset and they have a double. We have to go with this asset, a la Sarr, right? But if you look at recent minutes, not going to get enough minutes to warrant that.
Be valuable.
So you need to pick the people that are playing 90. When you're looking at the people that are playing 90, Henderson obviously in goal, Larox who gets DC a lot, Munoz if you want to go more aggressive. I think it's very close between those two. And then I think that's the players that you're looking at. Obviously team news and all that will obviously help as well, but yeah, that's just need to be careful with who you go with, and you really want to prioritize minutes.
You want to make that decision really on the deadline almost because they're not playing till Friday our time, and the first game at least this week is on a Saturday. So we've got sort of a day of options to look at. So if someone does pull up sore or injured, they do have a cheap defender who is getting DC as well. Is it Devaney? He had 18 DC. I don't know if he's a midfielder or if he's a centre back. I think he's a centre back. He had 18 DC in this game, which is incredible. They had Chatty Reid play with 9. They had Lacroix play with 10. Like, it's not the same Palace side that we were buying into at the start of the season. That's probably the one thing I want to get out there. Munoz is probably leading it for me, but I'm not sold yet. I want to see what happens on Friday before I fully commit. Yeah. So
would agree.
Let's move it on because we'll get to that in projections. Damo, you can fire us up. United Liverpool.
Yeah, great game for the neutral. I obviously captain Bruno Fernandes with the prediction that Everton will give Man City a tough time, so Haaland won't get many chances, and that I think that the Liverpool United game have a lot of goals in it, and it should be a field day for Bruno to go ballistic. Unfortunately, didn't quite get the prediction right. I got the prediction that the game would be open and Bruno would get moments, but I probably, when I captained Bruno, I was expecting 2-3 returns against what I think we've been quite poor. I think
a lot of injuries.
I think Liverpool are a good team to target in the back end of the season. So if you got someone that plays Liverpool, which is why I'm toying with maybe keeping Thiago because they do play Liverpool on the final day, Brentford, I think it's worth it because I think Liverpool are just going to ship goals. If you've got a United asset, obviously it's Bruno. Would I go to bring in one? No.
Bruno only.
So if I think Bruno, the week just gone was the last week to captain him. This week's a great triple captain week for Haaland. And then I think you're just captaining Haaland for the rest of it off the top of my head. I think this is a game that does not mean much for FPL. If you're someone that has a Liverpool asset, I would actively look to sell them this game week to move beyond. Even I know you highlighted Szoboszlai. It's not the same Szoboszlai we had first half of the year. So I think that's more
it's just really other injuries we've got up front. It's just not helping him.
Not at all. I just think that you don't want to target a team that's performed well below par this season, well below their data, and is now dealing with injuries towards the back end of the season. So that's us, and you don't want teams like that.
Got to agree with that. So that is where I'm at. We've got a couple interesting points here about Palace. We will cycle back to them once we've wrapped up these last 3 games because I think they're going to feature pretty heavily in our discussion tonight. And as Dom's got in the chat, make sure we do hit that thumbs up button. And let's welcome Dom in because he has made his way on as well. So how you going, Dom?
I'm all right. Not bad. Chelsea deflating me.
Yeah.
6 losses on the bounce with 1 goal scored, but what can you do?
The end of the season can't come quick enough.
Cannot come quick enough. Just lose the FA Cup final first, and then season's done, and then we get into pre-season. Get into the World Cup.
Yeah, let's get to that World Cup. Spurs, Villa. We've seen a resurging Spurs. So you were pretty heavy on Spurs, Dom, on your wild card, and unfortunately, they both got injured in the first game week, and they're done for the season.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's annoying, but I did say, and I've said, I think they're staying up. You two both
I would
went
love
against me
them
on
to
that
play
one.
West Ham. I would love them to play West Ham like in a dogfight for who stays up.
I think if they played them in a dogfight, they wouldn't. They wouldn't win. I think West Ham would beat them. Just better mentality. I still am a believer that they're going down.
So am I.
All right,
Personally.
we'll cross this at the season
At the end of
recap
the season,
stream.
yeah.
But
I think they were very lucky to get Aston Villa when they've got Aston Villa coming off of a 1-0 loss in Europe. With Villa rotating a bit as well.
Yep. But anyway, it's Spurs.
I don't really think that. Look, are we seriously going to target players from either of these teams at the moment?
No.
Surely not. So
No.
I reckon we just move it on because there's not a whole lot of analysis here that's going to get anyone anywhere. Chelsea's an important one now because Cole Palmer, 74% effective ownership, shows that there was a significant amount of people that were trying to chase rank and captained him this week. I'm a Cole Palmer owner. That one sole decision has absolutely tanked my season on Wildcard, trying to get a little bit differential at that point. And I've definitely learned that for next season to not go too crazy with 14 weeks of the season left. But if he scores a penalty, I'm coming on tonight with a completely different approach, thinking that he's back and Chelsea at 1-1. Who knows what happens in that game? But it wasn't to be. 2-1. So, again, if you are... was it 2-1 at that point?
It would have made it 2-1, but it would have changed the game.
All right. I think if you've got a Chelsea asset, it's kind of João Pedro or bust at this point as well. I've seen a lot of people talking about Cole Palmer and what they're going to do. I think a pretty popular move this week is going to be Palmer to Saka, as long as Saka gets through tomorrow morning. So, Dom, any other thoughts on Chelsea before we get on to Nottingham Forest, who have turned the corner?
No, I'm going to pretend they don't exist for the next few weeks. So, that's me.
Would you be okay to keep a João Pedro short term with some of the fixtures you've got?
Yes. If you have Pedro, keep him. Everyone else, I mean, if you've got Palmer, just move him elsewhere. But keep your Pedro. The guy's a beast. He's too good for Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly right. Forest, Gibbs White, once again. That's one that's gone through to the keeper. Was he off the bench too?
He was off the bench.
Assist, came off injured.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's big news then, which isn't great for Forest. He's been someone who has been brilliant for them in this run-in as well. I think Forest should stay up now. They will stay up.
Yeah.
He's someone that I'm looking at as a starter for next season. He does buck the trend a little bit of the DC guys, but I'm pretty keen to start. He just is that talismanic player that we thought Rodgers was going to be for Villa this year. But he's on penalties. He does the gritty work. They look for his feet. He can play the 10. He can play in the left and not really impact him with a bit of set piece threat as well. I think he's one to earmark for preseason as long as he's okay. And this is with a very rotated Nottingham Forest defense as well. So I'm keen to see what they look like next year under Vitor Pereira and what preseason shows, because it's funny. We're going to go 12 months down the line and we're going to be looking at Nottingham Forest potentially again. And even potentially playing in the Champions League, if they do get over the line against Aston Villa. But I don't think there's much to consider there at this point of the season. City Everton. I watched the second half of this game live. Haaland really didn't look like getting much of a sniff until he scored, as I said before. Gahey absolutely sold the clean sheet for any City defender, which was fantastic for me as a triple City attack. But Semenyo really just did not look. He looked like he was getting sluggish. He looks like he's ready for the end of the season now with Marmoush and Foden sniffing around for spots off the bench. Do I think he plays 90 minutes every game? Probably not.
Nope.
Which is frustrating because he was so nailed on that right wing. But I don't think it's worth a transfer. I don't think we learned much out of this game that's going to move us forward into next week. I think if you're on Triple City, you hold it. If you're looking to buy an asset with Bournemouth and Palace, I don't think they're great fixtures to target defensively. I'm still pretty keen on that Triple City attack. And I think it's Cherky, Haaland plus one other. And it's almost hard not to say Doku. I know he scored 2, but the last month he's looked bloody brilliant. And they don't look to change that left wing spot. Like Marmoush kind of comes on and plays a bit of that pseudo left wing, but I just think Pep just rides it now. I think he's in form, ride the wave. He's looked very, very dangerous the last few weeks. So I think if I was re-picking that front three, I'd be going to Doku. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree. Doku looks ready to go. So definitely would agree. I think if you're a Semenyo owner, you're not selling, but you're probably going, could be in some trouble.
Yeah, he's gone 75, 87, 90, 90 the last four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With only one game without a return. He's gone 8, 2, 6, 15.
Unreal.
So there's definitely been a change there. So
yeah,
I think if you want to get funky, I reckon Doku is a great play. So let's go to projections, because this is really going to be very heavily influenced by City and Palace players. So Hub have it Haaland number 1 out by 8 points over an O'Reilly. I understand the O'Reilly projections because they're probably projected a clean sheet and a half over the 2 games. I just don't know if I see it. The positive that City get is both these games are at the Etihad, which is massive for them at home.
Yep.
Brentford are the type of team to go and nick a goal. I wouldn't be surprised if this finishes a 3-1, and then maybe City go and get a clean sheet against Crystal Palace. That's probably what I expect if I was to stat it out, which is also what makes me kind of not certain on a Palace asset in the double, because Everton's not easy, and then City away is not easy either. So we'll get to them in a minute. Gahey, they must be statting him for DC and clean sheet.
Yep.
I'd be picking another attacker over a Mark Gahey at this point. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
More chance of goals than a clean sheet.
Yeah, I think if I was on free hit, I think the best play is Haaland, Doku, Cherky, and you're going triple attack with City. I just think defensively they're not been like the greatest.
Yeah, I got to agree with that.
Yeah.
So then they've gone Semenyo, Doku. So then we get into Gabriel as the first non-doubler for the next 3 weeks. Then we'll go to Bruno, which is fine. We'll kind of move through. What I'm finding interesting here is with the doubles, Lacroix comes in here. This is where my issue is. My positive with this Everton fixture is it is at Selhurst Park. So you'd almost want 3/4 of those points to be wrapped up in that first game week. We'll get rid of the screen soon and we'll just talk Palace. Because I really don't know moving forward what I'm going to do. Donnarumma comes in, Nuri comes in, Munoz comes in, and then we're starting to talk, João Pedro. Oh, Canvot, this is the guy, sorry.
Yeah.
Is that the same guy?
Yeah.
It must be the same guy.
It's Denby and then Canvot. Canvot's the one playing at the back because of the injury.
Oh, that midfield. He's the other guy's a midfielder, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I think if you're going to pay, 4.5? Like if you're strapped for cash, I don't hate it because Richards is injured, I think. So he's probably the guy if you can't get to Lacroix or Munoz, but at that point, I'm probably not even bothering. Casemiro, Palmer, not bothering.
Nah.
And to be fair, beyond this, we're not really looking at many transfer targets, are we?
No, not at all.
So let's get into it. What's going to be the easiest way for me to do this? Let's just go normal website. I'm going to go Crystal Palace. We're going to do things different today, guys. So get your questions in. He came on at halftime. Richards he came on at halftime. I didn't know that he'd come on at halftime. So that's probably more reason to then want to go for a Lacroix because you're not worrying about minutes. So thanks for pointing that out, Cortex. Unfortunately, us in Australia, it is hard to stay across every game because most of it's happening whilst we're in bed.
Yeah, that's very true.
Out of this list of players, where are we going? This is the question.
So, if you look at Hub, right, and you go by all players in Palace, right, Hub go, right.
Well, they go Lacroix.
They go Lacroix, Munoz, 8.6, 8.3 for this game week. Canvot, Richards, Henderson, and then Sarr. That tells you how lowly rated they rate Sarr's points, right? And minutes. That arguably their best talisman during a double is getting bugger all because he's not meant to play as many minutes because of Europe. And I think Palace will do that. That's where their season lies. They're not getting relegated. They can't fight for Europe. The only thing they're going to do is try and win Europe, right? I think with it being a hard double, Everton will come out and play in it'll be a combative game, etc. But City will dominate them. I think you need players that can get DC, right? And or players that have huge attacking upside and can get DC. So I think the only two options you can go for is Larox and Manon. And I wouldn't hold anyone else outside of that. If you need a keeper, like I do, I would go Henderson because two fixtures better than one for a keeper to get more save points. But
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
I think keeping it simple, you're going Lacroix or Munoz, and it's pick your poison. And if you get it wrong, you get it wrong. I think at this point of the season, you just go Munoz if you've got the 0.7 in the bank because he's capable of getting DC in some of these games that are going to be tight and contested, and he's got the potential to go and get an attacking return. So I think if you're picking, you are picking a Daniel Munoz over a Lacroix just for that goal threat personally. If I bring his data up on screen, because I didn't bring it up before, Munoz, the runs, like he's come back in here, 1-0 win against Wolves with a clean sheet, no attacking return, and he goes and gets a 9-pointer just because of how involved he is in their play as well. Like, I just think, you look through his season here if it works. 4 goals.
Last one.
Yeah, 4 goals, 3 assists. God, they need to redo this. And he's had 174 DC over the course of the season. The last 2 weeks, it's been 5 and 5. Again, the Liverpool game, bit of a different one, but then against West Ham, Newcastle, he's got it. So he's not locked in for DC. It's contextual DC, which it's interesting that he got it against Wolves. But again, that was a 1-0 win where Wolves must have played all right. So I feel like these games being relatively even, you're giving yourself an opportunity, but you're giving yourself a ceiling. So that's sort of how I see it. But is there anything we've missed?
No, I think if you're someone that wants to protect rank more than go and chase rank, Larox is the better play because you're going to get a good floor of minimum of 3 points, right? But if you're someone that was chasing rank, I think Munoz is the better play because he's someone that could go get 14 points this game week.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think if you're inside the top 50K, I reckon you're inside the top 50, you go Lacroix, and if you're anywhere outside the top 50K and you're chasing, or if you're holding a mini league or you're holding a head-to-head league, you can go Lacroix. But if you want to try and blow someone away and absolutely accelerate your points, I think it's Daniel Munoz.
I would agree.
Any other big talking points? I guess Saka's the other big one. We've got a question here. Reckon Saka starts against West Ham? I think at this point, Saka just has to start all 3 league games. I just can't see Arsenal not starting him. Morning. And that too. We've got to see what happens there. But I think these games are just too important. I think the threat of the corners and his goal threat, I think it's time to just unleash him for 3 weeks, stuff the World Cup kind of thing. If he, needs a longer break, England can give him that break. You'd expect England to really, get through their group from a World Cup perspective without needing him as much. Yep. So surely Arsenal becomes the preference and winning the league becomes a preference. So they're my thoughts on that one. Any other thoughts before we take any questions?
No, I think that's good.
All right, here we go. 80K overall. Is it worth bringing in Saka and O'Reilly for a hit for Gibbs White and VVD?
Great. It's a great rank, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, Gibbs White's injured and we're not keeping a clean sheet. So
yes.
Double game week.
I think because you get the double game week of O'Reilly and there's potential it goes clean sheet, right, which outweighs the hit, huge. You also have the potential of O'Reilly getting DC/ or an attacking return because he's seen that huge. And I think Saka will start all 3 game weeks and Arsenal need to win. And they're going to be, we're going to only go get 1 goal and defend, which is what I think they're going to try and do. Who's going to get the goal? it's probably the talisman, right? And I think that's Saka. So I think if you're gonna take a hit, this is the last game week to take a hit because you want more than 2 game weeks for that hit to come to fruition. Because like Saka breaks this week, but then they go and he scores 4 against Burnley, for instance. Great, right? But if you take it in game week 37, he blanks against Burnley, you only get Palace and that's it, right? To save it. So I think this is the last game week where I would say take a hit. And I think what you have said there, Cortex, is probably sufficient to take a hit because you get a double game week in that.
Yeah. Thoughts on Semenyo potentially getting benched for one of the doubles?
Yeah,
I think you're taking that risk with anybody, I think, at this point of the season.
I think it's very likely. I think he's going to get dropped for the Palace game.
Let's have a look. What's he done recently? He's gone 74, 90, 90, 64, 74. So he has come off early in the last 2.
Yeah, I just think we're going to get one where he comes off the bench in the 60th minute.
For Phil Foden.
Yeah.
So, look, I wouldn't sell him. That's probably the other thing. Because say he gets benched for Palace, but he goes and scores a double against Brentford, you'd be pretty filthy. The turnaround is not bad, though. It's Sunday to Thursday. Or, Sunday to Wednesday, I guess, if it's Saturday to Wednesday if you're in the UK. So they're pretty used to that turnaround as professional players too. So, if he does do well against Brentford and I see then Pep keeping it stable, then that's a possibility. If he gets hooked early again, then you probably do see a bit of rotation. You probably see Bernardo or Phil Foden start on the wing. What's to say he doesn't come on with 25 minutes and then contribute off the bench anyway?
True.
To be fair. So we have seen guys do that lots this season, so it's not the end of the world. So load up your questions, guys. What I reckon we'll do is we'll get into a bit of where our team is at for this week and then moving forward. Then we'll answer the last few questions and get on out of here. I will start because I am not getting stupid aggressive, but at this stage I'm making 2 transfers, which is VVD and Palmer to Munoz and Saka. I'm at 178K. I've been as high as 40K this season. I am really trying to push back inside that top 100K. I've got 3 weeks to do it. My triple captain will be active on Erling Haaland. Welcome along, FPL hippie. Hopefully you are doing well. I'm going to ride the triple city attack, which I am more than happy to do. My decision I have is Anderson versus Calvert-Lewin. I feel really gross about benching Elliot Anderson, but I feel even grosser benching Calvert-Lewin. So it's a bit like, don't know what I'm going to do yet at this point. I feel like I'm going to bench Anderson because of the midweek game. And if he goes and gets a 4 or 5 pointer and Calvert-Lewin gets a 2 pointer, that's probably worst case scenario. Like, I know Anderson got the benching against Chelsea or the rotation against Chelsea. So my actual lineup will... Oh, wait a minute, let me make these transfers. And then I'll probably end up lining up like this. And in case I do get a random benching from, I don't know, João Pedro, then at least I've got Elliot Anderson there. If Forest get through, it wouldn't surprise me if they rest him. This is a big game for him, obviously being an ex-Newcastle player. It wouldn't surprise me if they go, maybe sit this one out. Like, just get your legs back. I know it's at home, but that's what my team's looking like. And then I'm not really looking at making many more moves until game week 38. I'll try and roll 1 in 37, so I get 2 to play with in 38 to attack with. So let's follow through. I can see that your team is there, Damo. Talk us through whilst we get some questions in the chat.
So I've held Sanchez this whole time since that early wildcard in game week 24 to get Enzo Sanchez and Trevor Chalobah in, which has probably tanked my whole season and why I'm going to have my worst rank that I've had in about 6-7 years. But I still am bullish that if it all pays off and the triple captain goes bang, we can still finish inside the top 500K, which is salvageable at least. In terms of the moves that I have planned for the week, it is going to be, I can never pronounce his name, Newcastle defender, Thiaw.
Mickey Chow.
Mickey 4, as I like to say him. It used to be Mickey 4 because he was always good for 4 points. It's now Mickey 4 because if I had a fourth spot on my bench, that's where he would sit. But he's gone. And I am going to take the upside on Manoz. Just think he's good enough to get DC. We've seen him get DC in these difficult fixtures as well, which City definitely is. And I feel like if Palace are going to score, it's going to come from that side of the field and come from Manoz bombing on. If he gets involved, he's good for he's good for bonus points, as Paul alluded to earlier. So I'm going there, and I think he just outscores Larox over the next 3 game weeks. I'm playing him in this double and against Brentford before benching him against Arsenal in the last game week is the plan. And as I said, I had Sanchez, so I need a keeper, and I think the best keeper to bring in is obviously Henderson because he's got a double game week. He does rhyme with meow. But yeah, what that does do is in the last game week of the season is I get to play Dubravka one last time, playing goalkeeper 4.0. What a legend he's been for us to sit there and just use when needed. And yeah, it means in that last game week, I will be going to Dubravka to start against Wolves. And in that last game week, maybe I might try and bring in another Wolves asset for what will be a big game for them at home before they get relegated to the Championship officially. In their last game in the Prem, and might be the last game in the Prem for a while, who knows? But yeah, so maybe I might go there on game week 38 as a little cheeky punt, like I don't even know, a Toddy or a
Fleming.
Yeah, any of the Wolves assets. Like, maybe I go Joe Gomez in midfield, but as a cheeky little one-person punt.
They suck.
Yeah,
I just
think it's a game that's that maybe they
could have goals in it.
Yeah, I just think
Fleming could be the guy, but the problem with Fleming is he's a forward. You want to midfielder.
Yeah, I know. I would rather go like if I go to Burnley, I'd rather go like someone like
Ward-Prowse.
Yeah,
Jimmy.
Jaden Anthony.
That's straight away. I'm thinking I'm rolling, and then I'm doing 2 transfers here. I don't know who I take out, but I think there's any question on Semenyo's minutes or
Scott.
Or Scott, and then bench someone else here. I don't know who you'd bench. But yeah, I would go Ward-Prowse for one last hurrah. And yeah, maybe go like a Hartman and hope he gets DC in an attacking return or something. There's a little bit of a punt against Wolves, but anyhow.
All right, Dom, have we helped answer your question from earlier today around what Crystal Palace has
Still want to talk about it. So for a bit of backstory, in one of our mini leagues, a cash league, Paul's sitting second by 2 points. And I am playing the guy in first place this week. So as a great friend, I'm going to be doing Paul a favor by knocking off the guy in first place. So I can't win. I'm way out of it, but I want to help Paul out. So I'm going to get everyone to help me here. So I'll pull my team up. I'll just share my screen to show where I'm at. So I think I'm in a pretty good spot.
And you got your triple captain active this week too?
Yes, which I will be using.
We all do.
Everyone see that?
Yeah, we're on.
Okay, so 2 transfers in the bank. Obviously, we got 2 red spots there. A forward and a midfielder. Obviously, we're going to look at targeting 2 Palace players just for the double game week. So we're going to have 5 double game weekers playing, plus a triple captain on Haaland. Where do we go here?
That's tough.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're going a midfielder and a forward, ideally.
I think so.
But where?
Now I understand why when you said it today, Dom, that you wanted a mid and a forward.
Well, when you look at each player individually, you're happy to have Pedro Porro this game week. You're happy to have Incapié if he plays this game week.
He didn't play though. That's the thing.
Mukio just came off 11 points. Will likely get DC against United, so you're happy there. You're happy with O'Reilly. I think the player that you take out, and it sounds strange, is Luke Shaw because he doesn't get DC.
I did have him off. I did have him off coming into this.
He'll hit the bench.
Or you can put him on the bench. Anderson, I think, is fine to play. Rogers, I think, is fine to play.
Is there a world where West Ham gets something? Is West Ham, as I just put in the chat before, players in a dogfight? Like they're handy, but obviously he's a very good player, and West Ham aren't awful, and they're in a dogfight. Do we go for it?
I think you can start bowling.
I think. I don't know.
My problem with Crystal Palace is
What's Mateta's minutes been
Larson.
like?
Nah, this is what I'm talking about. Strand Larson's gone 64, 58, 20, 64. And
just doesn't
Mateta's
look like.
gone. Yeah, and Mateta's gone 25 and scored 2 goals in that 25 minutes. 31, 69, 25.
Yeah. So that's basically the only real forward option is Strand Larson or Mateta. But who are they going to play? They just got smacked by Bournemouth. You just don't know who's going to start there. Midfield's easier. I can just roll with a Brennan Johnson.
I honestly think you're playing one up front with Haaland, and you're buying a defender and a midfielder, and your defender's going to be Minoz or Larox. I would go Minoz.
So we say Shaw's, Minoz or Lacroix, either or, doesn't matter.
Yeah, doesn't matter. And you're playing 5-4-1, and you go and remove Xavi.
Becomes Brennan Johnson.
It almost doesn't even have to be a doubler.
That's what someone just put in the chat. Who was it?
I don't think it needs to be a doubler. How much money would you roughly have if you did that?
Well, let's do it.
How many what's
no money in the bank.
Minutes been like, and what's his DC been like? Like even getting Wharton in, he goes against DC, that's 8 points.
He didn't play last week.
Yeah, you don't want to be mixing. This is the problem. You don't want to be, because they've got Europe.
Yeah, it's hard with Palace. Palace is the worst.
Do we just say effort and we don't go a midfielder there? I feel like I'd happy to move Hincapié on.
No, I think he plays in against West Ham's fixture.
Is it Shaw? Is Shaw the play then? Sorry,
Shaw's the one to go.
Because United concede and he doesn't get DC.
All right, so you got to make money to make these move happen.
So we do this and we move him to.
It's your call with Lacroix on Munoz.
I think you go Lacroix with your funding, Don. To be fair, I think Lacroix could probably. I don't know.
We make 0.1 here somewhere. Do we move Xavi?
So if it's Xavi, what are you at? 6.3.
3. Let's see who we can afford.
6.3.
I'm looking at projections here.
But that's a bit too sideways. Harry Wilson goes Bournemouth this week. Interesting.
At home. Who's got a great matchup?
Trying to think.
I'm looking at it now. Pascal Gross has Wolves at home, and then Leeds away. Man United at home.
Yeah, he did.
He starts.
That's probably arguably the best punt at cheap.
I do say the guy in first place has Pascal Gross.
Does he now?
Do we match him on it and then we back ourselves in?
Nah, I think you then take Hinzelwood.
You've got Elliot Anderson.
Yeah.
It's either that or you go Harry Wilson, who then goes Bournemouth, Wolves, Newcastle, 2 of them at home.
Well, Paul, we're more focusing on winning this week.
I know we are, but
I'm doing you a favour.
He probably has Harry Wilson too, knowing.
Now, look, I think one of the teams that we could target is Aston Villa, no?
Against Burnley.
I just think Ward-Prowse on set pieces.
They'll be lucky to get it into their own half.
See, I think Villa are going to rotate because of Europe. And
but it depends if they win, though, and they're 1-0 down.
Paul, do we go to Liverpool?
No,
those are horrendous.
I mean, the Zabozlai shout's not the worst.
We can't get there.
You can't get there.
You can't get there. You don't have the funds. You need whatever.
6.3.
Well, to be fair, they benched Gross this week against Newcastle, and I don't see where he brings him on field. I think he'll play Tavernier against Fulham.
Okay, what's another good matchup here? That's
Pascal Gross has played 90 every single game pretty well.
I agree with what Con just said about.
What's a matchup here? Look at this. What's a matchup you like?
For a midfielder,
I like to play for Villa.
I like Everton away to
double up on a Villa. Yes, you don't know what Villa are going to do. If Villa go out,
Villa go out, then they're playing for Champions League.
I think it's Hinzelwood is the best.
Is it a Buendia?
Yeah, what's his minutes been doing though?
Yeah,
5. That's fair, understandable. They Oh, his minutes are terrible.
Yeah, you can't go there. I think it's Hinzelwood because he's going to get minutes, and they've got a good fixture. And the guy you're
What does
playing,
he play? He plays what? The 8?
Was he playing in the 10? Paul?
I haven't seen.
I don't know if
his
he's still
name.
playing in the 10, but he was playing in the 10
Let
at
me
some
get the
point.
Let me get the match plots up.
There's some good minutes.
What are the numbers
Oh,
looking like?
take a -4 if you really want to help. No. It's a
No
head-to-head
hits.
league, Colm, and he's playing top, so you don't want to give extra points to top.
Yes, so we're basically wanting to knock top off so Paul moves into top.
Yeah,
for our
if
mini
he
league.
wins.
Yeah.
I think it's Hinzelwood in the 10.
Because Gross does it from like random swinging crosses and set pieces, doesn't he? He's not so much open
Hinzelwood
play.
has link-up play.
Premier League. I'll get the Brighton Newcastle game up. Let's have a look.
Yeah,
Hinzelwood doesn't get anywhere near DC, which makes me feel.
No, he's attacking mid.
No, he's attacking.
He's
Even though he did come in and play right back. Aha. All right, I found it. Let's go. Save image. Here you go, guys. This is our on the fly.
I'll stop sharing.
Let's go. Image. Here it is. All right, this is the Brighton heat map from the week. He was more ahead than Danny Welbeck.
What about Minte?
Forgot him, man.
I think the option is Brighton mid, personally, against Wolves. I think
Minte's
that's
5.5 against Wolves. You want to go there? We know what he's capable of.
Brighton
against Wolves.
Mids. How do I set mids? I can't. Minte recently has gone 79, 90, 76, 90. But his numbers have really nosedived. Like his actual XGXA has
What's
nosedived.
Hinzelwood's numbers in comparison, and what's Grob's numbers or Gross numbers in comparison?
All right, let me
Hinzelwood's got some great numbers.
Too bad we don't have enough funds for Matoma here either.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
Player, how many funds do you have left?
6-2, I think.
Matoma's 6-1.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can go to Matoma, yep.
So Pascal.
Great minutes.
Yeah, Matoma's minutes haven't been great, though.
Last 2 weeks, good. XGI Hinzelwood's like played him out the park.
Look, I'm sticking with that. I think Hinzelwood's the play, but I think Matoma's a proven quantity, and same with Minte, so you know what you're going to get.
All right, let's go detailed. Here we go. You want shots? You want goals? You go on Hinzelwood. There's your answer.
You want chances created and assists? It's Pascal Gross.
And then heat map. I like this section here.
I've just seen a great comment in there. Ryan.
Who are Bournemouth playing? Fulham.
It's not the worst. Ryan could be a shout as well.
5.4 as well, below as well. Which means I can probably get to Munoz.
Look at these big chances. 8 big chances. Shots in the box. Shots on target.
Hinzelwood's the play.
So it's Hinzelwood's and Lacroix or Ryan and...
All right, let me compare Ryan and Hinzelwood.
And Munoz.
Bournemouth.
So that's me to get to Ryan.
Ooh, here we go.
Similar. Ryan takes more shots.
Hinzelwood is actually more... No, Hinzelwood's red. Oh, as in Ryan takes more shots, but Hinzelwood has more on target, more in the box, big chances. Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so we're going it's either Ryan and Munoz or Lacroix and Hinzelwood.
Lacroix and Hinzelwood.
I think it's Lacroix Hinzelwood.
I'm going to pull the trigger right now.
Well, don't do it now because if Lacroix gets injured on Friday,
they're playing. Okay.
But I think that's the decision. There we go. We haven't done a live strategy chat for a while, but we're hoping to bring in the big league in for us this year. So, any other final questions? Because I have kind of neglected. West Ham is the only chance Arsenal loses points. Can he afford Solanke to Gyökeres? No, we're not doing that. Gentlemen, start Bowen or Thiago, Damo? Thoughts?
Thiago.
Same for
Brentford got this
Thiago.
week? Man City. It's Man City or Arsenal are the two options.
Yeah, I think Arsenal with a better defense, and I think that we've already seen with City that they can be got at the back at the moment. So I think it's Thiago.
Yep, I agree. Casemiro or Dewsbury Hall? I mean, I think was that more of a suggestion for Dom? Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. If it's not, and you're picking between the both, it's Casemiro, just because I think he gets DC for sure, and has been more consistent in that. I think either or could be a viable option for Dom, but I think Hinzelwood's the best play there for his price range.
Vong, how are you tripled up on Brighton? Van Heck, Gross, and Matoma, maybe?
It's not bad.
Bruggen, Van Heck, Welbeck. Okay, fair enough.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I think it's Hinzelwood. All right. Any final questions, guys? You've got 30 seconds to get them in. Otherwise, we'll wrap things up. Make sure, if you haven't already, that you do leave a big like on the stream. We are currently sitting on 12 likes. If we can get that to 15, that would be fantastic. And let's try and get those subscriptions in as well. If you are new, we're at 276. We want to get that to 300 by the end of the season. Jackie forgot to mention the top scorer was Doku. I was thinking, where are these points coming from? But there we go. A nice 15-pointer from Doku. And I got to ask, what made you captain Osula as well, Jackie, if you're still here? Because for them to come in and get a 9-pointer is a big differential that, end of the day, what Haaland score 7. So it only it does gain you a couple points, obviously, but probably a bit filthy for Haaland, captainers that, he didn't really do a whole lot for the rest of that game. So once again, wrapping it up. Well, here we go. Here comes a big question. I think I missed this one before. Thank you for putting this one again, Karen Gabba. 3 free transfers. Tempted to do Cucurella, Goodmanson, and Palmer to Gabriel, Munoz, and Saka. But a part of me thinks I should save a transfer. I'm at 2,979. Top 3K. Oh, feels gross.
You don't have Gabriel when you're 2,979.
Yeah.
Interesting. How long have you not owned Gabriel for, considering he's like 80% owned? I actually think that if you don't own Gabriel right now, you bench against him for 3 weeks, no?
I agree.
And you go Saliba, or you go Calafiore, or you just take one of the others on and hope they outscore Gabriel over that period.
I sold him in 32.
That's what Tiger reckons. I'll wait and see what Karen said.
Come through.
Oh, maybe I just missed it. But yeah, sold him in game week 32. Makes sense. We all saw Gabriel on wildcard 32. I did not.
We'd already wildcarded.
Yeah.
I'd almost just go. Can you get a City defender? I mean, I don't know what the rest of the team
is, but I would go a City defender if you got it there. He might have 3 City assets already, though. So
yeah, or may already have O'Reilly.
Yeah, I would go. Munoz and Saka makes sense. Yes, I would do that in a heartbeat for both of them. I actually think at your rank, I'd rather the Rocks because you're going to get a better floor price. Like, you're going to get 4 points minimum. Yeah. Where Munoz might go and get benched and whatever. Has free City. Who else would I go at the back? Would I go against Gabriel? Answer's probably yeah. Then they play Burnley and Palace.
Yeah, there's no one else. I think you're doing it.
Just do it and get Gabriel back in, yeah.
And cover. Yeah, do it and cover. Yep, I think so. I think that's the play.
Always a differential. Jesus, Jackie. Nailed him this year, though.
All right. I think from a questions, hopefully we've been able to help with that one there, Karen, as well. But if you can, on the way out, please hit that like and subscribe. It really does help us. We're up to 13 likes. If 2 of you that are still here can hit that like button and get us to 15, that would be absolutely fantastic. We have 2 more Tuesdays to go until we're previewing Game Week 38. Best of luck going into Game Week 36, guys. It is going to be an absolutely monumental game week for everybody. Chips being used, and I think there's going to be lots of transfers used this week on certain combinations of players, which will set up our sides for the rest of the season. So we will be back next Tuesday night to review all the carnage from Game Week 36, and we'll see you then.